You guys have any idea what this is? Well, I'll give you a clue. I'm going to use it to help fix the number 4 Stanley plane. See, the Stanley had a hard life. Somebody beat the crap out of it. Now this tote is held on with a screw, and the screw goes completely through the body of the tote and kind of holds it together. But if you hit the tote on the end, or if you smack it something hard enough that it's going to make a dent like that in it, it's going to snap this thing. Because this little screw rattles around in that hole. It's not there as a reinforcing rod, it's just there to push down on it. Because all you're really supposed to do is, with a sharp plane, hold that in your hand and push the plane through the wood. Sharp plane, it doesn't take any real pressure at all. But if you drop it, and usually what happens when they get dropped, this part of the tote breaks right off. But in this case, that's still there. But to add insult to injury, they didn't tighten it back up or repair it. They just left it loose. So over the years, the upper part rocked against the bottom part until it washed out the wood. So that's where this thing comes in. Most totes on Stanley planes have a 5/16 hole through them. Now sometimes you have to take a drill bit down through there because this is a stepped hole. They drill from one side and then they drill from the other side. So it's actually 2 holes that meet in the middle. And they might be misaligned just a little bit, and you have to take a 5/16 drill bit, run it down through there to get them to line back up again. By putting that 5/16 rod through there, and then a nut on the top and a nut on the bottom, with this handy little tapered wedge, you can pull that tote right together. Now I've got a gap in there. I'm going to have to fill it in with some 2-part epoxy, and we'll go into that when I get around to truing this up and squaring it up. But for the initial gluing, I'm going to use super glue. Just a word of caution. Don't get it down into the hole. Don't add a whole lot of it either. All you want to do is have enough in there that's going to cover all the surfaces. Now if it's a fresh break and you do this, it'll be practically invisible, because you can pull these 2 surfaces right closely together and they'll mate right up. As you can see, this one is not going to be that easy. Check your alignment. Make sure everything stays where it's supposed to be. Once again, in this case, it is badly damaged. I've got it square. It's never going to be perfect. Okay, I'm going to leave that set and go off and do something else. After leaving it set for a couple of hours, I'm going to disassemble the clamping mechanism. That comes from the two holes being misaligned. There's a tight spot right there. Okay, that's glued together. Mechanically, it's held. Screw goes through it just fine. Now I'm going to go through and sand the outside of this and use the sawdust that I get from that to make a filler along with some 2-part epoxy to fill in these gaps. Try and smooth this out a bit. It would work this way, but it just looks better if I manage to get some of the major dings and dents out of it. And while I have the rig set up, I'm going to glue up this other one also. This is off a Union number 7 that saw even harder use. I've got them roughly back in alignment. This one had the same problem. Somebody broke it and then kept using it with a broken handle. That forces a gap open in the open a gap in the handle. That's going to have it lined up fairly well. It's going to true up better after I sand it down and close up the gap. Put a bit of super glue on it. Now, with all that glue and clamps on it, I'm going to let it sit. While it's drying. I'm going to gather up the dust from the drilling. I'll use that as part of the filler. Mixing this sawdust with 2-part epoxy, I can use it as a filler to repair this handle. Number 4 is progressing. I now have the handle glued together. I don't have it finished up, but I have it glued together. I have the casting repaired and painted. So the next step is to start doing some of the other assembly.